of this story. Remember, she disappears in the air. Now we get to know. She was mistakenly summoned by a demon lord. Seeing she wasn't his true summon, Demon Lord turns to leave, but she begs him to help her. Demon Lord sees she has an affinity for fire. This makes him summon the fire spirit and offers her body to him. From that day, the fire spirit lives in her body. After being possessed by the fire spirit, she feels quite exhausted, and while Demon Lord observes her ability, a leaf flies across his face and lands on the floor. There is a sudden magic outburst, and as Demon Lord keeps staring, a great sorcerer named Koenig emerges from the fire. He boasts he will defeat the Demon Lord and become one himself. Demon Lord calmly responds.
Let's go, guys!
Ignoring the sorcerer's words as the spirit awakens.
God!
They decide to make her after that, her friend wants to take it along. She asks her not right. In the Lord's castle, they both appear before him, and the baby monster instantly tries to scare him. She denies the body
Let go!
Closer, hugging Raymond. Later, in the room, as Erin dresses, she tells though she's happy to spend her last journey with her. Shocked, Erin interrupts, asking, "Why last journey?" She replies, "I've been around for decades. I'm not as young as you think." Erin then assumes she's joking, after which they walk out to meet the guilds. Waiting for them, Cavil asks, "Why do women take so long to get dressed?" Just then, Shizu stops, and others wonder what's wrong with her. She suddenly begins to stagger, struggling to suppress the fire spirit from showing up. However, she couldn't. As other guilds watch, the spirit overpowers her and unleashes fire straight into the sky, and everywhere goes dark. She begins to move up the sky, releasing a big fireball that blows away everyone. Erin calls out for her, and as she stands between the fire, the guild suddenly realizes she's the guild hero from about 50 years ago, known as Conqueror of Flames. Confused, Cavil says, "I think she retired already." Just then, Rimuru orders Rigard and Rigger to evacuate with others, and they obey immediately. As they leave, he calls out to Ranga and orders him to fly up as soon as she starts attacking. Her mask falls off and her eyes beam fire. At the same time she cries. The fire spirit takes over her, roaring like a lion, and the guilds quickly recognize the fire spirit. This makes Erin doubt they can ever win the battle. Gato agrees, saying, "It seems like we don't stand a chance." The fire spirit roars again, releasing fire that wrecks the whole place. The fire turns into salamanders, heading straight to attack them. Rimuru comments, damn it, they wrecked the village we just built. He tells the guilds to run away, but they say no, deciding to fight the fire spirit. At first they worry she's one of them, but then, they think of it as fighting the legendary hero and not her. Rimuru asks Fire Spirit what he wants. Instead of replying, he throws a fireball at him. Rimuru counters with a water blade, but it vanishes before reaching him. Meanwhile, the salamanders charge at them, but the guilds attack them, casting the icicle lance spell. As they keep releasing their lances, they remind themselves it's their duty as guild members to fight enemies. Rimuru warns them to be careful. The dragons also keep firing at Rimuru, and he has to escape riding on Ranga. While at it, he instructs Ranga to only focus on evading him, and he will do the attacking. Ranga follows his instructions rightly. As he moves around the fire spirit, Rimuru feels they need to get rid of the salamanders first, and thinks of shooting all the water and him at them. His system shows he can, as when water makes contact with the salamander it can destroy them, but the force may also destroy the area. That discourages Rimuru. Just then, he sees that the icicle lances the guilds are firing are knocking out the salamanders. Then, he asks Ranga to move him close to Eren, whom he asks to attack him. She is reluctant at first, but later she does. As she fires, Rimuru consumes the lance, analyzes it, and asks Ranga to fly close to the sky, releasing tiny substances. These substances later turn into lances, which he orders to attack the salamanders. The guilds also continue shooting lances at them, and immediately the last salamander resorts to blowing itself up. But Ranga helps Rimuru escape, seeing the guilds are being affected by the attack. He jumps down from Ranga and orders him to get the trio to a safe place. Ranga takes them away, while Rimuru feels he can now fight the spirit without holding back. Just then, the fire spirit clones himself and descends back to the ground surrounding him. Rimuru rolls himself up which destroys them all. Provoking fire spirit is anger. He casts the flare circle spell on Rimuru, causing fire to consume him. The goblins watch their master being consumed from afar and struggling in the fire. He pities himself, thinking, after having still has a short life as a slime. However, he senses he doesn't feel any damage. Then, his system reports he can automatically nullify fire attack. Hearing that, he feels relief. After a while, as the fire keeps burning, Fire Spirit feels Rimuru is dead and so turns to leave him, but he captures him with his thread. Shocked, Fire Spirit watches as he comes out of the fire unharmed. He tries to use fire to destroy the thread, but that doesn't work. He again He then activates his predator skills, after which he consumes the fire spirit. Fire spirit appears, and he seems confused. He tries using fire to break free. Then, a voice says, "Just give up, fire spirit." This makes him shocked, and the voice adds, "You can't break out here." Turns out the voice is Storm Dragon. He says, "You're no match to Rimuru, my friend." And as he reveals himself, he says, "I will like you to fight me instead." Next scene, in the room, Shizu is seen lying on the bed. She thanks Rimuru for stopping her from killing her travel companions like she later killed her friend. Then, she says, "Would you mind listening?" Rimuru says you shouldn't talk much, but she says, "I want my story to remain in people's hearts." Outside, the goblins continue with the village construction while Shizu narrates the story of how he serves the Demon Lord. She says she was his loyal servant until she met a masked hero. Flashback reveals Demon Lord abandons his castle cause of a battle, leaving Shizu behind as the rear guard. The hero approaches her, and they fight. With her flaming sword, he attacks the hero, but she can't beat her. Back in the room, Shizu says the hero didn't kill her. Rather, she asks her why she's in the castle and how she survived staying there. In the castle, after answering her questions, she consoles her as she cried emotionally. The hero then took her in and gave her a mask. She said the mask would boost her magic resistance and suppress the fire spirit in her. She tries to reach out for the mask and Rimuru helps her. She says by traveling with the hero, "I learned about this world and magic, and with the power of the mask, I can also control fire spirit skills to help others." With that, she was known to be Conqueror of Flames. Rimuru praises her skills. Then, she continues saying, she was so happy traveling with the hero, but one day, she disappears, leaving her behind without a reason. She wishes they could meet again, and since then, Shizu decided to become stronger and help people who were suffering. She works hard fighting monsters for them for decades, and people start calling her a champion. But now she's no longer young, which is why it's becoming difficult to control the fire spirit. This scares her, and she converts her loved ones. After that, she retired and became a teacher in a school in Ingracia Kingdom. The school is for kids from other worlds. Then, she says one of the kids taught her the video game line Rimuru quoted, and they chorus, "I am not a bad slime." She recalls it's so much fun teaching the kids and those days were peaceful. However, some of them eventually went off on their own and leave her, but one of them went on and became a Grand Master who oversee all guilds in all countries. So she thought there was nothing left to teach anyone, especially now that her life is close to an end. But one thing she remembered, her search for the man who summoned her. Rimuru asks her if she wants revenge, and she says, "I want to find out something from him," which is why I joined the guilds in their journey, and they are nice people even though they can look for trouble. Now, she asks Rimuru's name. At first, he says, "I told you before, I'm Rimuru," but she says your real name, and he replies, "Satoru." She also says, "My real name is Shizue," and she sighs. Rimuru says you should sleep now, but she says, "I want to ask for a favor." Rimuru replies, "Ask me anything." Then she says, "Eat me, just like you ate the fire spirit, and that will make me happy." Rimuru seems confused, and then she adds, "I dislike this world, still I can't abhor it. I don't want to be absorbed by this world." She places her hand on him and says, "This my last request, let me rest inside you." Reluctantly, Rimuru says okay, and she weeps. He asks for the demon lord's name, and he says Leon, who is one of the most powerful demon lords. He asks what she wanted to find out from him, and she answers, "I just want him to acknowledge that I had existed." Also, she wants the kids she taught to be saved and returned to their world. Rimuru swears on his name to make Demon Lord hear her wishes. Shizu thanks him, holding on to her mask, and goes silent. Then, Rimuru says, "Shizu, my destined one, rest in peace within me." He activates his predator's skills and says, "I will consume her so she can dream happily, and never have to wake up from them." He then eats her up. As she journeys within him, she sees the hero and one of her students as she rushes towards them. They vanish, and light shines on the other side. She sees her mom in a house and rushes to her as she waves at her. She turns into a kid and hugs her mom. Back in the Goblin village, Eren worries about Shizu. When they get close to the room, Goblin King comes to welcome them. As they enter, they are shocked at what they see, realizing that Rimuru has taken the appearance of Shizu. Afterwards, they get to know Shizu is dead, and the guilds doubt if the new girl is really Rimuru. Goblin King says, "I can identify my master even in a new body." Cavil apologizes for doubting and says she looks smaller than Shizu. Rimuru turns back to the slime that he is, which made the guilds amazed. Eren then asks if he eats Shizu like fire spirit. He answers that was the only burial he could give her and apologize for not telling them first. Cavil says we understand. He then personally apologizes to Eren for not telling her, and she says, "I just wish I could say goodbye to her." Rimuru mentions that Shizu says she had fun traveling with them. He adds, "She also says you are troublemakers," and the two turn to Cavil and they start to argue who causes trouble first. Afterwards, the guilds decide to return to their country. Cavil says they have to report to the guildmaster about their findings in Shizu, and they promise not to say anything bad about the Goblin village. Before they leave, Cavil asks one last favor, which Rimuru permits, and he asks him to take his human form again. Without arguing, he turns into Shizu's appearance. They bow and says thank you, Shizu, and that amazes him. Cavil promises to be a better leader in Geto, to treasure the time they spent together. With tears, Eren hugs her, saying, "You're like a big sister to me." Rimuru pats her head, feeling glad the three of them are her final travel companions. Rimuru decides to gift them new robes which looks really good on them. Rimuru tells them they are parting gifts made by their artisans, and he introduces blacksmith and the miners to them. After introducing them, the guilds are shocked to know the blacksmith is the famous one they know. Cavil promises to treasure the robe and they all appreciate them. Seeing that, Rimuru realizes that blacksmith and his buddies are really famous than he thinks. Afterwards, the three guilds leave the village. Rimuru wears the appearance of Shizu holds a funeral for her with Ranga, remembering the promise she made to her to meet the Demon Lord. However, before he can take any action, he needs to gather information first. And from there, Rimuru, who dies as a random person in his old life. Now, meeting the dragon and Shizu in this new world gives him a purpose to live for. Next scene, Rimuru, in his slime form, feels right after holding a funeral for Shizu. Then we see a strange beastman staggering as he walks. All of a sudden, he falls, and an unknown man approaches him. He says, "I will give him a name and some food." Turns out he's a beastman too, and he asks who he is, and he says, "I'm Gelmud. Think of me as your father." After a while, he agrees, and he names him Geld. There is magic flow, and he says one day he will take possession of the forest of Jura and become the orc disaster. Then, he gives him food. Rimuru and the goblins continue to develop their village. With the help of Blacksmith and the 3 miners, they are able to build more houses even without Rimuru's order. Seeing everyone is busy outside, Rimuru enters his room and vomits Shizu's mask. He decides to take care of it to keep memories of her, after which he mimics her appearance. He's amazed by how his mimic skill turns him into a real human, though his sense of vision and hearing aren't as sharp as when he's a slime. He realizes it's due to his slime magic sense. He asks his sage ability if he can now use the fire spirit cloning skill, and it confirms it's possible. He decides to try it out by cloning himself, and he's amazed when he sees his clone self, but notices the clone looks nothing like his former self. He wonders, am I supposed to be a pretty boy or girl? Curious. He decides to check what gender he is in this human form. He is disappointed to see that he has no gender at all. Still, he brushes it off and gets dressed, since as a slime he never had one anyway. He realizes he didn't use extra magic energy when mimicking Shizu. His system explains that it's only needed when creating a larger form, so he uses extra magic to create a full-grown male form, then a female form, which looks almost exactly like Shizu. He orders the clone to vanish, thinking it's wrong to look like Shizu. Outside, Goblin King reports the work done and Rimuru praises him. When Goblin King asks if he wants to eat, Rimuru first thinks he's still a slime. Realizing he's in human form, he decides to join them for meals from then on. Goblin King promises a feast that night. While walking through the village, Rimuru wonders what food he'll taste first. He runs into Rigger and his food search team, and asks them to bring back something tasty. Gobda asks if Rimuru will eat with them, and he answers, yes. He jokes about food making his chest bigger. Annoyed, Rimuru kicks him away. Rigger apologizes on his behalf, and promises to hunt a bull deer for the feast, since magical beasts are now many in the forest. Surprised, Rimuru asks, why are they many? Rigger replies, it's just due to environmental changes. Doubting that, Rimuru summons Ranga to follow them. Ranga
Shot, bet me free.
And get 5% cash back on any category you choose.
Let's get you some help. Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for your size, style, and budget.
That was easy. Tried it, bye.